all of what we have done is the activation of our right to self-determination, which is inalienable. It doesn't depend on anybody agreeing with us, including the so-called federal government, including the so-called Fulani, including anybody at all, because what we're doing is under the instrument called the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, 2007, that simply translates into what remedy is available to us in the lamentations we are caught in. As long as we are distinct ethnic nationalities in our ancestral spaces, we're entitled to that right, and it doesn't depend on anybody else agreeing with us. Therefore, Yoruba land is like Catalonians in Catalonia, like the Scots in Scotland, saying they are fed up with the UK. Let nobody frighten anybody with government is coming or anybody is coming. No, we situated and conditioned what we were doing. All the processes are within legitimate and legal parameters. What we did on the 16th of December in 2020 is to invalidate the instrument by which Nigeria is convened, by which the governance of Nigeria is mandated and defined. But we're not anarchists, because we already indicated that if after 90 days these 5 demands are not met, we will reconsider our allegiance to that constitution. Anybody can interpret it how they choose, but that is what the signatories, that is what the peoples of the territory have indicated. The first demand is that the federal government of Nigeria must now, that the Federation of Nigeria, because the dispute is against the Federation of Nigeria as represented by the illicit federal government of the day, to come to the table by first expressly acknowledging the dispute that has been declared, because it's a sovereignty dispute, it's a union dispute. These constituents are saying, the South and Middle Belt, saying, we no longer have a country if it is this constitution that we didn't make that is locking us down here. Second demand, that federal government must expressly commit to decommissioning, to the decommissioning of wholesale decommissioning of that 1999 constitution. The third demand is that federal government must expressly commit to halting any further renewal of the life of that constitution by way of election, that no further elections will happen, because we cannot be discussing how to settle this fundamental problem and some are still discussing how to go to election under that constitution, because elections will validate the life of that constitution another season. We must now go to solve the problem. That's the third demand. The fourth demand is that the nationalities have to be invited to work out the modalities, the memberships of the transition body, and the mandate and the time frame and all of it. What will define that period in which we will go to the business of reworking the constitution. We're not talking about sovereign conference. We're not talking about some kind of woolly, the specifics of what had to be done will have to be agreed. Finally, an announcement of a transitioning arrangement, time-bound transitioning arrangement, in which everybody will know that from now on it is a transitional government, and then the two-stage process by which the constitutions, the successor constitutions will emerge. The regional blocks will have to make out their constitutions if we are still discussing a federation. The first thing is that those who were trapped in Nigeria against their will since 1967 will, in the first layer, in the first stage, work out their own constitution. The Yoruba will have their own constitution. The Lower Niger, that's the South, South, and Southeast, cooperating as ethnic nationalities, will have their own charter and constitution. And the Middle Belt, the same. They will go to referendum. There are people who have to recommit to being in any union before they go to the second stage of discussing the terms of the union. Let everybody understand it now that what happened on the 16th of December was the invalidation of the illicit constitution that was imposed on them all this while, since 1999. And so, with that invalidation, that constitution is dead. And any further business will have to begin with recommitment to being in a union. It is when that recommitment is done that, so let it be clear that the process that we are talking about, that will be acceptable to us, will be in two stages. If anybody is still hoping to call a meeting in Abuja, where they will say National Assembly or government is, the matter of our sovereignty is not the business of government. Even as bad as that constitution of 1999 is, in section 14.2a, it at least acknowledges that sovereignty, I'm quoting now, section 14.2a of the 1999 constitution acknowledges that sovereignty belongs to the people from whom government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority.